Hi, I'm Steve Warnek for PMI's New Jersey chapter, and today I'm going to explain the basics of how to fill out the application for the Project Management Professional exam. So to give you some background, I received my PMP back in 2017, where we were on the 5th edition of the PMBOK guide. We're now on the 7th edition, and many aspects of the application process have been streamlined. So your first steps are to go to PMI.org, click on certifications after you've created an account, and go into the certification process for the PMP exam. You do not have to be a PMI member to take the test, but if you are a PMI member, you get special discounting on your test, which more than pays for your first year's membership fee. So the first thing is putting in your education, whether you have an associate, bachelor's, master's, whatever. Then you're going to put in your project management professional education. Keep in mind you have to have 35 contact hours minimum PMI approved classroom education. Contact hours do not expire, but the training you have may become out of sync with later versions of the PMBOK guide. If you have any concerns about how to fill out this application, click on the Your Handbook link to open up the PMP Handbook. The PMP Certification Handbook should be able to answer most of your frequently asked questions about the exam and what's involved in taking it. Next thing to do is enter in the background information for your project experience time. Note that there is an 8-year look back for projects that you've worked on, so only concentrate on projects that you've led within the past 8 years. Note that the experience summary will automatically tally the months you've accrued. Applicants with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree will have to have 36 months of project management experience. Anyone with a secondary degree, like an associate's, will require more. If you're a recent graduate or you don't have the minimum amount of project management experience hours, you may want to consider taking the CAP-M. Next step is to fill in the background information about the project. What functional reporting area, your focus, your budget, etc. Note that PMI only considers a 40-hour project work week and that overtime hours are not counted. If you have overlap due to multiple projects being worked on simultaneously, you will have to decide which one takes precedence. After you fill out your dates and project information, then you go right into the project description. For the project description, they suggest using between 200 and 500 words with a 100-word minimum to complete your experience on the project. There doesn't seem to be a maximum. I tried going up to 1,000 words and beyond, and I didn't see any kind of restriction. But basically what they mean by high level is beginning, middle, and end. This is where you're going to explain your roles and responsibilities on the project, what the project's objectives were, and what was your approach on the project. And what we mean by approach is how did you manage the project? Did you use more of a traditional approach to the project? Did you use an agile or hybrid methodology? How did you manage your deliverables and what those deliverables were? And eventually, what was the outcome? Were you able to deliver on time and on budget? Once you're done entering in your project, then you can add additional projects to your experience until you get to the minimum you need to have. Again, remember your experience summary will continue to accrue as you add additional experience to your project profile. Once you're done with your experience, you can continue on to the next section. Also note that you don't have to do this all in one shot. You can always exit out of the website and log back in at a later time to continue filling out your application. The last section is really just a wrap-up. This is where you enter in your mailing address, the name on the identification you're going to use when you sit for the test, i.e., your passport, your driver's license, whatever you're going to use as your ID, the name you want to have printed on your certificate, your email and phone number where you can be reached, your general location where you would like to take the exam, and whatever special accommodations you may need due to disability. You're then going to affirm that the information you provided is accurate and complete, and agree to the PMI terms and agreements and the PMI code of conduct. Note that at any time during the application process before you hit submit, you can always go back up to the top bar to go back to a previous section. But remember, you will have to hit the continue button on the bottom to continue forward. Once you're done with your application, you can just hit submit. Then all you have to do is wait. Usually it's 5 business days before you get a response. If at any time after you submitted you want to check on the status of your application, go back to your profile page where you can also view a PDF version of your application for download. Once you're accepted to take the PMP exam, you have 1 year in which to schedule and take your test. You have 3 attempts to take the test within that year. If you're unable to pass the test within that year, you will have to go through the submittal process again. So the first thing I'm asked is, what triggers a PMI audit of your application? The truth is 99% of the audits are really random selection, although PMI does reserve the right to do an audit specifically if it feels the need to. If you are audited, be prepared to provide contact information for managers and whomever else you feel will justify your experience on the project. Now, some people will say, well, what if I can't find those people that can support my experience on the project? I always say, try to keep all your project correspondence and notes and documentation, your plans, so that you can support your claims. Another thing I hear is some people say they've been approached by individuals to compromise their test, take the test for them or whatever, or ask for information about the test after they've taken it. If you're approached by people like this, take down whatever information you can and submit it to PMI. They take fraud very seriously. And one of the biggest questions is, how can I learn more about the exam, about the test, and about leveraging my certification once I get it? Simplest answer is join your local PMI chapter, like PMI New Jersey or any of our sister chapters, and embrace the value that the local chapters provide. From a networking and social perspective, it is the best way to get the most out of PMI. If you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, post your comments, and share. We at PMI New Jersey hope you found this video to be informative. And remember, wherever you are, we are there with you.